Welcome back to episode 2 of these Italy Interrail videos. You rejoin me when I'm leaving the island of Ischia, ending the solo part of my Italy trip on my way to Rome. Together with my best friend Kathleen, we're about to embark on a 3.5-week trip all around Italy on an Interrail ticket. Hope you enjoy.
Not like the other one. Turn to strike my face. Always second place.
On our first morning in Rome, we did a free walking tour around the city, where the idea is that you give a tip at the end. Sometimes these can be a bit hit or miss, but this guide was really good, and I'd recommend if you're ever in a new city, as they can also give you lots of ideas and tips about what else you should do. Of course, we couldn't visit Rome without seeing the Colosseum. But our ticket also included access to the Roman Forum, which was really pretty to walk around, especially at sunset.
All that I ever was, it was only just a phase.
Next day, we queued up to get into the Vatican Museums and Sistine Chapel, which took about an hour, but the student tickets were only €8, so this was much cheaper than all these skip-the-line tickets. I'm not usually a big fan of art museums, but the Vatican ones were pretty cool, especially this tunnel room with the maps on the sides and this amazing golden ceiling. A lovely last evening in Rome, visiting the Trastevere neighbourhood, before going back to the Trevi Fountain for one last time and partaking in the tradition of throwing a coin into the fountain over your shoulder. Next, I was back off to Naples again, but this time with a friend to do more day trips nearby and experience a different side of Naples while staying in a hostel. One of the first things we actually came across back in Naples is that they completely transformed this main square into a big concert venue. And it turns out this well-known singer from Naples, Gigi D'Alessio, was rehearsing for some concerts as we walked by. And he even had this whole live orchestra. Our first big day trip from Naples was to visit the ruins of Pompeii and Mount Vesuvius. Pompeii was very impressive and felt a bit like travelling back in time, like that Doctor Who episode from 2008. We were brought back to present time with a bus that took us up near the top of Mount Vesuvius. By this point the weather was turning, but it was still such a cool experience to walk around an active volcano. Sorry after seat, but you've been extinct for millions of years. We made it to the shelter of the train station just in time before a big thunderstorm arrived. This ended up delaying our journey back quite a lot, so we were very relieved to make it back to the hostel just in time before the sun was about to set, and for the free hostel dinner that they had every night. The next day was also a big day trip, this time to the town of Sorrento. We didn't quite make it as far as the Amalfi Coast, but this little seaside town was still very worth a visit. Especially this cool little cove we found not too far from the town. And if over 30,000 steps per day for a week wasn't enough, we also took advantage of our very sociable hostel to experience the Naples nightlife. So it wasn't surprising that I was completely knackered out as our time in Naples was coming to a close, and I came down with a cold. But the thought of trying the best pizza in Naples from L'Antica Pizzeria da Michele lured me out of bed, and the wait in line for that pizza was definitely worth it. Plus it was only €5. Way for a much needed retreat to the Tuscany countryside in a little town called Certaldo. It truly felt like a real life version of the book and movie Call Me By Your Name, with hammocks to lounge around and read in, beautiful vineyards and sunsets, and even free bikes to ride into town, although they were rather dodgy bikes. Neither of us are really big wine fans, but to further immerse ourselves in this whole romantic Tuscany getaway experience, we went on a wine tasting tour with some other people from our hostel, which was pretty fun. Slightly less romantic were the mosquitoes at this place, which completely ate our legs alive. Not deterred too much, and apparently recovered enough from the busyness of Naples. For some reason we went on this strange run, in which we got a bit lost and definitely trespassed through the vineyards on some private land. Luckily no Italian farmers noticed us, so we were able to go and visit this amazingly blue river and waterfall. And then risk our lives some more with some trapezes and cliff jumping. We also managed to get out to the city of Florence for a day, which was nice to look around, but just felt really, really hot. A memory from Tuscany that sticks out is when a small group of us walked up the hill to watch the sunset, and we just spontaneously sat there in silence together for a solid 5 to 10 minutes, just taking it all in. And with that, our time in Tuscany drew to a close.